It's like it's the first guy to ever be like science has gone too far is somebody who made a brick house. It's like no.
Yeah. Lord boys.
Here.
Welcome. Hi, the world's number 1 fake history podcast. And the world's number 554th real history podcast.
Are we?
I'm gonna say we're somewhere around there, probably.
I submitted I submitted a couple episodes that I did on real life for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this one's I mean, realer life, I suppose. We're going to be talking about Chinese mythology. I'm not going to call it Chinese mythology 101 because that's too generous. I'm going to call it like grade 9 Chinese mythology, maybe. I'll give us.
Okay.
I think we're high school at least, right? We're past middle school in our caliber, probably.
I think so. Yeah, we've done enough episodes to get us through like a high school degree, but I just don't know where we started. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Started from the bottom. Now we're here.
Okay.
Yeah. So before we get into that, I wanted to give a shout out to our patrons. New patron Commodore Turtle. Hi, welcome. Finally, honestly, geez, Louise.
It took you long enough. My God.
Yeah.
No. Welcome to the crew. Hope you're enjoying your perks. Is there anyone else, Peter? Did I forget anyone?
Yeah. Someone up their sub today.
Ed Geens Belt, thank you very much from going from 3 to 9. So paying for democracy there.
Still a bad name. Apparently, it's in reference to something we said. I think I don't remember.
It's a real crime scene.
Yeah,
it's real crime scene evidence.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks so much. If you want to become a patron, patreon.com/theloreboys.
And sorry we missed you last week. We were in a bit of a time crunch.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So to start us off, what do you guys know about Chinese mythology?
I know the skinny dragons. The skinny dragons that can fly around, they don't have wings, right?
They're many they have many gods too.
Yeah,
like
for
not
sure.
just the one god.
It's even to the point where like the definition of god is like can be drastically different in a lot of senses, right? More akin to like the kami from Japanese mythology, who I think we've talked about a little bit before, who are more like some of them can just be like spirits. We're going to talk about some like god emperors essentially, and the entire basis of early Chinese civilization was based on the idea of a theocracy, which is, the people ruling are divine. Like why else would they be in power, right? So like kind of god emperors and things like that. Not to bring it back to 40K like I always do, but the idea of a god emperor is originally from Chinese mythology, much more than 40K. We're going to talk about
god emperor in 40K. Is he Chinese?
Yeah,
he's Turkish.
He is
Turkish.
Yeah, Turkish.
40,000 years later, you could be China. You could be just about anything. It'd probably be unrecognizable.
Doesn't matter.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, if 40,000 years from now we're all going to intermarry, we'll all be Chinese. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's the
We'll all be
pot.
god emperors.
Yeah. I guess at the top, apologies for my pronunciation on some of these things. It's going to be very anglicized. I might give it a go once or twice.
A lot of GXIs in there is what I'm assuming.
There's a lot of stuff that I looked up some pronunciations, and then I was like, damn, even with the pronunciation that they're reading to me, I still can't pronounce that the way that they do. It's just it's almost like it's a foreign language to me. Also, I guess on the top, we'll be a little irreverent with all this, as we so often are, but only respect for people's beliefs and all that stuff. And then, we're going to goof on them a little bit, probably, because we're talking about a little headless goblin towards the end of this episode. But we gotta go through to get there, right?
Now, let me guess ahead of time. Are we talking about John Cena?
Da, 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 da.
Because I know he makes a lot of trips to China. He's a big supporter of China. You've seen his big chilling clip where he's talking about ice cream. Of course, you have. So, is John Cena a god in China?
I can only guess. I suppose we're gonna get to about 200 BC in the timeline. So
The Rock was around, but
yeah, exactly.
The Rock was around. John Cena hadn't been seen yet.
Yeah, it's probably much more of like some sort of folkloric monster you might see in like the Nepalese mountains, right?
Or you might not see in the Nepalese mountains, huh?
Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, get your drinks ready. There's going to be a lot of take a drinks probably in this episode, and I'll start us off with in the beginning, the universe was in a state of chaos, void of order and structure.
Ooh, damn! Hitting the void right off the bat. They were coming in hot,
right?
Until China fucking whipped the universe into shape, man.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, like, I think what was interesting about like reading up on a lot of this stuff today was like, we talk about it all the time, like everything is derivative, but seeing like how one to one so much stuff is always pretty interesting to see. Brings a smirk to my face.
And China also being one of maybe not the oldest, because there's like the Fertile Crescent is just closer to Africa. China is one of the oldest cultures on the planet.
Yeah. So again, we'll get up to about like, or will we get? I'm trying to remember how far up. Maybe we don't even get to 200 BC. Maybe we get
Does
more
the
like
goblin
2000
predate
BC.
Jesus?
Yeah, for sure he predates Jesus. That's for sure.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean it is quite old, no matter what you think. You know, and oldest, not oldest, I couldn't say. I haven't read about them all. So according to Chinese mythology, in this kind of primordial void, there emerged two divine siblings. Once again, you could probably take a drink. We have.
Wait, I know them.
Okay,
it's going to be yin and yang.
Pretty close, honestly. They're essentially they're like the gods or embodiments of the yin and the yang. They're Fuxi and Yua, who played pivotal roles in bringing harmony to the primordial world. So the descriptions of the primordial world in Chinese mythology, as found in texts like Classics of Mountains and Seas, also known as the Shanhai Jing, and the Huai Nanxi, those are like the two primary sources for a lot of Chinese myth, and like will be the primary sources for this episode, like people's translations of those works.
Okay.
Ethan, I was just thinking about this we have this game where we have the people in our Lore Boys Prime guest loser titles. And last week I threw a curveball by going on Ethan's week and also doing a 40K episode. Yeah. Now Ethan follows up with like a real world history one. Yeah. They're gonna be losing their minds. They're not gonna know what the hell to guess.
I had the thought too. I was like, it's a blessing that it came out on a Tuesday, because they only have to lose their minds for like 12 hours or whatever until the episode comes out. I had the actual thought. I was like, man, if it had actually come out, like the loser titles had actually come out on Monday, I might have had to just step in and be like, guys, don't even try and guess. You're never gonna get it.
It's out less than 9 hours, actually.
Although, to be fair, I posted a picture of Xin Chang, the headless goblin, who we're going to talk about in a little bit, in the lore request channel, and said, "Lore on this guy win." So somebody could get it.
They could, yeah.
That's fair enough. I am going to be one of these primordial Chinese gods and bring balance to the Lore Boys universe next week. I will be doing something predictable.
Sorta.
Yeah. Games Jamie's mom rented from Blockbuster by Pete, dude. I'm gonna do it.
I'm still into it. So like if you do Banjo-Kazooie, could you imagine? So the primordial world is often described as having, you know, these mythical landscapes, divine beings walking all over the place, and kind of just like raw cosmic forces.
Is it Banjo and Kazooie, like with an X in there? Are those the Chinese gods?
Yeah. Banjo, Kazooie. While there might not be a singular detailed account of what this primordial world looked like, some generalized descriptors you can have is state of chaos, formlessness, devoid of structured order that defines the world we know, time before the establishment of the cosmic order and the emergence of distinct forms and entities. Elemental forces such as water, fire, earth, and air are often integral to the descriptions. They're usually in their raw, undifferentiated states, embodying the foundational elements from which the world is shaped.
Cool. Bunch of elements spinning all up with all matter. It's just a big old primordial soup at the moment.
Exactly. Couple divine beings walking around.
Those are the same four magic schools in Wolong Fallen Dynasty, which is the Sekiro, like based on Chinese mythology. There's only the four magic schools, and there's like fire affinity, earth, wind, and water affinities that you can spec into for like healing, defense, fire, and status or whatever, right?
Healing, defense, fire, and air.
Yeah, well, fire is just a it's just a DPS, right? Like, I think the only game I've ever played that's done something interesting with like a fire class, the Pyromancer in Outriders, was basically your ice class, because the only way to freeze an enemy was to encase them in magma. So like the ice mage and the fire like dots mage was the same guy in that one, basically, which was pretty cool.
Interesting.
Okay, you said magma. It made me think of one reel and then it made me think of another reel, which is there's these beds for earthquakes. Okay.
Yeah.
So whenever you're laying on your bed, there's basically like a coffin underneath your mattress. And whenever an earthquake happens, the doors open really quickly and they drop you in there and it closes and you're in a steel box with 10 days of food and water.
Wouldn't you be worried about
10 days of food and water under your bed?
They managed to fit it in a thing that you can't even sit up in. Like you're...
like my pantry's pretty small. I probably have enough room under my bed to fit my pantry.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know where you
having to go through like your fucking MREs and your canned rations, eating them on your back. Like what the like the fucking rescue workers, the FEMA guys are gonna dig you out, and you're just gonna be like covered in beans, just like God help.
I would never have a good night's sleep because I would constantly feel like that's gonna open up and swallow me, and then there's gonna be no like the landline out or whatever is not gonna work, and there wasn't an earthquake, so no one's gonna come looking.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna suffocate.
It's too scary, man. I think
I would rather stored 10 days of peas under her mattress.
Yeah, and well, that too. Like it didn't seem like there was a hole on the bottom for whenever you were doing your pee in your 10 days in the box, right? Like it would be a very slow Titanic situation of your room filling with water.
Why did they make it watertight?
Like no oxygen either.
Yeah.
10 days of food, 3 hours of air. We're still hashing it out.
Yeah, it's for those gluttonous Americans.
Yeah.
If you eat all McDonald's.
Yeah. I mean, it would be the perfect bed for the primordial world. If it was only Earth, the only element that we had to worry about. But unfortunately, there's fire, water, and air also that we got to worry about. Right?
How are we going to get air into there? How are we
going to get water out?
How are we
going to keep fire
above, not under?
Snugly cozied up around it. Keep me warm and toasty, but not too hot.
Like that smiley fire that makes the eggs in that anime. Have you ever seen that?
House Moving Castle. Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Right.
Voiced by Billy Crystal. Great movie. I watched that like 3 weeks ago.
Oh yeah. I always just see whenever people are talking about like really good eggs or food that looks good in anime, it's that like smiley little fire and he's cooking up those smiley little eggs.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
I'd recommend it. So the classic Mountain Sea is one of the sources for all these myths. It describes mythical landscapes and regions within the primordial world. These might include fantastical mountains, rivers, territories inhabited by divine beings, mythical creatures, often carrying symbolic and cosmological significance. So you'll often hear, one story about one being from this place, which like the earth is tied to, some energy or some emotion or personality, whereas fire is tied to another. So usually
anger, impulsivity.
Sure. Usually in the same breath, like for every like negative emotion, there's like the same handful of positive emotions too, right? Where it might also be
decisive.
Like passion. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Decisiveness.
Water would be fluid, flexible, form. Fuck. I don't know. P.
It's the P emotion.
True. Bing chilling. Without water, there is no Bing chilling.
I don't know what Bing chilling is. You said you've seen it. I played along for the bit, but I don't know what that is.
I'm surprised you dodged.
It's
that
a John
one.
Cena bit, yeah.
There's like John Cena, and he's eating an ice cream cone, and he's talking in Chinese about
fluent Chinese, yeah.
He's
fluent
Mandarin,
Mandarin, and he has He keeps saying "bing chiling" because that's what ice cream is in Mandarin.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
And so he'll say the whole. You can translate the whole thing, but for a while, like probably now 6 months, 8 months, maybe a year or more ago, people would learn the whole phrase in Mandarin. I would just say it in different meme contexts.
It's a copy paste.
Yeah, exactly.
It is at this point. Yeah,
it's a meme.
Yeah.
I got it. So we have two beings in this primordial world, whom I mentioned before, Fuxi and Nuwa. They're often depicted with serpent-like bodies, symbolizing their close connection to the cosmic forces and natural world. So usually the like dragons are seen as very primordial and very natural. That's why they have those kind of serpentine bodies.
Jesus.
So there's a picture of Nuwa for you guys. All the pictures are going to be in this style. Very ancient sketchings of.
All right,
these
I've got a
figures,
stall
okay?
guide at least going forwards for when I get
they're
to
all
work.
they're all going to be in this style.
It is a snake person, but like literally a person's head with just a snake's body coming out of where the neck should be. Like
it's very concise. It is just like I guess like some lady's head and unaltered and an unaltered snake body. No embellishments.
No.
Yeah. No notes.
She doesn't even have a nose piercing.
It's true.
Yeah, so
the tree looks cool.
I mean, this one is apparently from like 70 strong. Not even that old, honestly. They could have more perspective than that, probably. But yeah, it's a drawing that you or I could draw. Whoever's listening, you could get pretty close to this thing.
What if you were like, and then here's the version from 2023, and it's just exactly this picture but real, like a woman's face and a snake coming.
Just AI art.
Yes, it still somehow has fucked up hands because it's AI art.
It's like whenever they like Photoshop animals to look like when kids drew them or whatever. Like
haunts. Yeah. I love those.
Yeah.
I mean, here's just a different picture of Nuwa, I suppose.
More of a female spirit in this one with a little bit more snake. I feel the other one, she's just only a head. This one, she has arms and stuff.
Yeah, she got arms. She's holding like a conch shell or something. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Coming out of a coral reaf.
I thought she was wrapped around like flaming rocks or something. She was also kind of on fire. She has arms, but her shoulders are just at her chin. So like she's kind of like scrunched up, like she's falling, and then she has a burning snake body. I think at least.
So in a divine union, Fuxi and Nuwa came together to bring about cosmic order. This union symbolizes the harmonious interaction, Jamie, between the yin and the yang. The dualistic principles that govern the balance of the universe in these philosophies.
Yeah, it's like when you first put all the puzzle pieces out, and you're going to do a new puzzle. You got to like organize all the pieces and stuff.
Yeah,
imagine doing that for all the elements in the whole universe, man. Yeah, all the fires got to go to the top right. We're gonna put a little water there, earth here. That would take forever, man.
We throw the box away when organizing the universe. It's more fun that way.
Oh yeah.
Whenever I finish cover.
Yeah, when I finish organizing my universe, I frame it and put it on the wall.
Yes.
It's a little tacky to do these days, but yeah.
So the partnership between these two represents the marriage of complementary forces, essential for the creation and sustenance of the cosmos. So I have a quote for you guys from the Huai Nanxi, as translated by
Chinese.
That's translated by Major et al. If you'd let me finish.
I was hoping he was just going to do a John Cena.
Yeah, what was it? Bing chilling.
Yeah, I brought up the lyrics if you want them.
Oh yeah, sure. That would have been good if I had just hit you with those. If I had those lyrics prepared, I guess.
Yeah. Like I'll put them there in case, but they're too much for me to challenge.
I can't read that. That's like Chinese.
No, it completely is. Yeah.
I don't know. It's all Greek to me, man. So a quote from the Huai Nanxi. In ancient times, Gong Gong and Zhu Hanzhu fought, each seeking to become the Thearch. Enraged, they crashed against the Mount Boshu. Heaven's pillars broke, the cords of earth snapped. Heaven tilted in the northwest, and thus the sun and moon, stars and planets shifted in that direction. Earth became unfull in the southeast, and thus the watery floods and mounding soils subsided in that direction. So what we have here is we have two gods, Gong Gong and Zhuanshu, who fight. Zhuanshu specifically was like a human, and again, he's one of these divine mortals, it seems like to me anyway. Again, this is 9th level Chinese mythology, so don't at me if I'm wrong about that. He was definitely a human, more like a god emperor or something like that. Ends up fighting with this Chinese water god known as Gong Gong, and I'll send you guys a picture of him. If it looks like an old classic, just let me know, I guess.
It's just another face on a snake, but not enough of these faces on these goddamn snakes.
Yeah. But he's got horns this time. He's more aggressive looking than the other one.
Yeah, so again, the snake body does seem to represent like a connection to natural forces. My take on like them looking like the Chinese dragons is that the Chinese dragon. I don't know if that second half is true at all, but that's my take on it. They're fighting. They crash into this mountain, Mount Bushu, which had these pillars which were supporting heaven above the earth. Those pillars broke. The cords of earth snapped.
That's Paradise bearing pole. Careful with that one.
Oh, yeah.
That one that holds up the heavens, yeah.
So heaven tilted in the northwest, and thus the sun and moon and stars and planets shifted in that direction. It seems to be that's like the canonical reason for why the stars move west to east is because of the way Earth fell whenever this happened, basically.
So heaven just got shifted like off balance?
Heaven started to fall and Earth got shifted off balance, essentially. Earth started to fall as well. There's like these
Eric Clapton's kid falls out of a building in heaven back down to
Earth. Falls up the stairs to Earth now. I don't know. Up the stairway to Earth.
I was gonna say credit to these ancient like mythology writers here, because like obviously ancient peoples, do deserve a hell of a lot of credit. The east to west and west to east of like the stars and the sun, I was like, were they good enough to calculate or figure out at least that the Earth's axis was tilted as well?
Yeah, well, they do say the northwest specifically, right? Like it tilted towards the northwest, not the west. So like they do see that it's kind of like when you're in the northern hemisphere, it doesn't go directly west, right? It doesn't wheel directly west. It kind of spins in the sky, and that was kind of their reasoning for that too. They say that the Earth fell towards the southeast because all the rivers run southeast, or not all the. I should not say all the rivers run southeast. A lot of major rivers at the time were seen to flow southeast, and
every river in China flows to the southeast. Obviously,
yeah, exactly. They never turn. They're all straight as arrows.
I saw a cool trick for telling what's due north. As long as you have sunlight, is you can put a stick in the ground and like just make a mark where the tip of the stick's shadow is, and then wait 15 minutes, and then make a mark at the tip of where that stick's shadow is. The same stick, it doesn't move. And that line points east-west, so you make a perpendicular line, and that's north-south.
Oh, cool.
So if you're ever lost and the sun's out, you can at least find northeast, southwest.
If you're currently lost in rural China and
all you have is a Lord Boys plan.
It could happen to you. So I just thought this was like a cool little like you say, Peter, like credit to ancient people. Like all mythology and all religion was at some point just a way of describing the world around us, which we had no language or understanding to describe, right?
Yeah.
So this is just more of that, and I always think it's super cool to see.
Our current science communicators are terrible because Neil deGrasse Tyson does not have a snake body.
If Neil deGrasse Tyson told me that this snake with a face fought a man and they crashed into a mountain and that broke heaven and that's why the stars wheel the way that they do, I'd be so fucking. You know what I mean?
Neil deGrasse Tyson just tweets once a year about what it's like.
It's not real.
No, to kiss yourself in the mirror, exactly. He keeps posting about kissing yourself in the mirror, the same tweet over and over again.
So yeah, we've got a bit of turmoil with the heaven falling and Earth getting a little out of whack. And it's amidst this turmoil that Nuwa would fix things. So she represents like the order between her and Fuxi. She's kind of like the order of things, whereas he's more the chaos. So she sets about to fix the pillars. But like any good RPG, first she needs to go on a quest to collect the necessary gear, right?
RPG.
Of course, yeah.
So first fetch quest is you got to find the 5 colored stones before you're ready to fix them, basically. Each stone represented one of the fundamental elements: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. With those in hand, Nua was able to harness the power of all 5 elements and use that power to repair the sky. Cut off the legs of the great Commodore Turtle, Ao, an old favorite here on the Lore Boys, and we've talked about before. I can post you guys another picture of what Ao looks like.
Do you think a steamboat is all the elements captured into one? Because you've got the fire, water, metal, wood.
No, earth. Oh, coal.
Metal, coal.
Air.
Yeah, coal. Yeah.
What about air, though?
Okay, so
Steam. Right? Like,
Steam is
kinda-
vapor, right?
Yeah, it's water, air, vapor.
The pressure is the thing that rotates the turbine and then turns the screws.
Which one's the last airbender? That's the steamboat captain.
Yeah.
The Avatar has to go down with the ship, obviously.
Yes, of course. Oh, speaking of Avatar, the big turtle is an Avatar, and Stephen King.
So
and
I mean, a lot of
ancient
and natives too. Yeah.
Natives.
We've talked about. I think we've probably shared this picture of the world turtle before. Like Ao being the as a name is also like the D&D original god. The original creator was like Ao. Like it's a very, again, this is something that is very heavily referenced throughout all kind of media.
It's just someone trying to say air who can't pronounce it properly.
Yeah.
Ao. I like it.
When you hear you say air.
You feel the wind in the Ao? I feel it.
Feel the wind.
So I have another quote for you guys. Going back to more ancient times, the 4 pillars were broken. The 9 provinces were in tatters. Heaven did not completely cover the earth. Earth did not hold up heaven all the way around its circumference. Fires blazed out of control and could not be extinguished. Water flooded in great expanses and would not recede. Ferocious animals ate blameless people. Predatory birds snatched the elderly and the weak. Thereupon...
Only the people are blameless in all of this.
Yeah. The elderly and the weak are full of blame. So we're not going to lump them in with the ferocious animals eating them. Thereupon, Nua smelted together 5 colored stones in order to patch up the azure sky, cut off the legs of the great turtle to set them up as the 4 pillars, killed the black dragon to provide relief for G province, and piled up reeds and cinders to stop the surging waters. The azure sky was patched, the 4 pillars were set up, the surging waters were drained, the province of G was tranquil, crafty vermin died off, blameless people preserved their lives. So
crafty vermin and blameless people.
Obviously translations, right? Like blameless people, probably we would say innocent people.
The
in this
innocent.
Yeah, exactly.
And crafty vermin just means Americans.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I love the idea that she just like cut the legs off this world turtle, which was like supporting Earth. It's like they need to support heaven on top of Earth, and they have a turtle supporting the Earth underneath them. They're like, we'll cut its legs off and we'll put them on top to support heaven now.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want it wandering off. Otherwise, who knows where the Earth is going to end up?
All of existence is just such a Jenga tower, like ready to fall over, isn't it? Like,
I guess it's worth calling out too. Like, I'm telling like plenty of stories here. There's like a ton of sources over like 4,500 years, right? So like a lot of Greek mythology too. You'll hear like one character doing like 2 different stories, which like he dies in this story and then like is just back whatever during another time. Like all this applies to Ao is still around in Chinese mythology for like thousands of more years. It's said to be carrying these 3 islands on its back, not necessarily the Earth of the 8 immortals, which are some figures in Chinese mythology. So everything I say, I mean, don't count anyone out until we're done.
From the picture that we have, there's a turtle and then there's 4 elephants holding up what is the Earth that's only a semicircle above them.
It's a dome Earth, yeah.
Yeah. So the inside of the Earth is filled with elephant farts in Chinese mythology.
It's like captured.
Yeah, exactly. That's what keeps them floating up and not falling down.
That's what's causing global warming. It's not my private plane flights.
It's China and the damn elephant farts, man.
The damn elephant farts.
I've seen the numbers. They're China's a big contributor, and I think their elephants are the problem.
All that coal that they buy from British Columbia.
So we were talking about Nua. We'll talk about Fuxi. Fuxi refreshingly seems to take a backseat to Nua, his wife. By some accounts, they were like husband and wife. His part to play in a lot of the mythos seems to be primarily that he helped Nua create humanity. But there's also plenty of stories, like I was just saying, where they weren't the ones who created humanity. There's some thought that it was Pangu, a primordial being.
Pangu.
Yeah.
Newt.
Newt, my
God
Newt, my
created-
guys, and God saith unto Pangu, Newt.
Into
so
all
he's
a
this
good Newt.
he's this primordial being of creation. Some people say that he was the one to kind of kick off humans and create the earth. So I got another quote for you guys here. In the beginning, there was nothing, and the universe was in a featureless, formless primordial state. This primordial state coalesced into a cosmic egg for about 18,000 years. So take another drink. I think cosmic eggs at the beginning of the universe is something that we can say take a drink for at this point.
I mean, I'll drink for whatever, man.
Yeah, it's a close enough to a magic rock.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's not the first time we've talked about primordial cosmic egg. So, within it, the perfectly opposed principles of yin and yang became balanced, and Pangu emerged or woke up from the egg. Pangu is usually depicted as a primitive, hairy giant who has horns on his head. I did share a picture with you guys. Pangu began creating the world. He separated yin from yang with a swing of his giant axe, creating the earth, murky yin, and the sky, clear yang. To keep them separated, Pangu stood between them and pushed up the sky. With each day, the sky grew 10 feet higher and the earth 10 feet thicker and Pangu 10 feet taller. This task took another 18,000 years. Just in some versions of the story, Pangu is aided in this task by the 4 holy beasts, the turtle, the Keelin, the phoenix, and the dragon. Thought that was cool. In some of them, he's got...
Hell yeah.
The Keelin is probably a horse, right? Or like a unicorn?
The Keelin is like, it looks like a... it's in Harry Potter. I know that. And it's like
they have
a
a misspelled or mistranslated version of that in Monster Hunter, and it's Kieran. The L and the R is switched, but it's like a lightning unicorn in Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
Kieran.
It does have a single horn. I know that. I don't know if it's more horse or like deer, but it's like some kind of 4-legged beast of burden ish kind of thing.
Right.
After the
it's spelled with a Q, not a K.
Yeah, after the 18,000 years had elapsed, Pangu died. His breath became the wind, mist, and clouds. His voice, thunder. His left eye, the sun. His right eye, the moon. His head, the mountains and extremes of the world. His blood, rivers. His muscles, fertile land. His facial hair, the stars and Milky Way. His fur, bushes and forests. His bones, valuable minerals. His bone marrow, precious jewels. His sweat, rain, and the fleas on his fur carried by the wind, became animals.
Okay.
So this guy did it all. You know what I mean? This guy one day, like, set out into the world. Said, like, I'm going to make a sky and an earth with my axe. I'm going to cut all of everything into two parts. He's going to take the puzzle of all existence and put it into 2 distinct piles, yin and yang. And then he is going to get underneath the yang, the clear sky, and just push it up for 18,000 years and keep growing with it while he's pushing it up, essentially. And when he's done that, he's going to up and die, create everything.
That's fitness goals, dude. Right there.
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
Well, like, how does it create everything when he's done? Because when he dies, the yang falls down into the yin and then smashes all together and creates what we know, or like, how does separating it create what we know? I don't get that part.
I don't know. It's all like interpretive, man.
Yeah.
Take that for what you want. Like when he creates everything, his breath becomes the wind, mist and clouds, voice, thunder, all that stuff. His bones, valuable minerals, right?
That's true. I mean, that is how bodies work.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it's like, I love the idea that his head becomes like the mountains, and it's like there's just mountains everywhere in China. So it's like, how is his one head all the mountains? You know,
that's true.
Doesn't need to make sense.
But
too much sense anyway.
If you go to China and you sell some of your spinal fluid, you can make a lot of money because they're going to turn that into gems.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. His bone
that
marrow,
sounds like a
jewels.
rumor that Marco Polo brought back to Europe, dude.
That sounds like a rumor that like some people who are on certain forums on the internet these days would believe. Like the Chinese are stealing your bone marrow to turn it into diamonds.
It's a lie. You can sell your spinal fluid for a lot of money, but I don't think the Chinese are. Well, I don't know that the Chinese are turning it into gems. So.
Yeah, I don't know that they're not.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know.
That reminds me
I'm just
of,
saying, there's 2 sides to every story.
Yeah.
On the subject of idiotic rumors that people would believe, during the peak of Stop the Steal, some of those crazy people were testing ballots for bamboo fiber because China's air is so saturated with bamboo that their phony ballots would have trace amounts of bamboo.
That's so insane, man. I don't know.
Oh,
Where do you even
yeah.
buy a bamboo fiber test? You know what I mean?
That's-
Like,
I know, they're just like free at the pharmacy, right? Like COVID
Man.
was still going around, you can get a test, and like for election fraud season, which is in the fall, you can just go get a bamboo fiber test to make sure your
snake
ballots are
oil
legit.
salesmen just fucking have been cleaning up for fucking 8 years now, eh? It's
In
unbelievable.
America, totally.
Infinite rubes.
Yeah.
Unending supply of rubes.
And America totally like influences like other governments' elections and stuff.
We got our own freedom convoy, and
But
I
they don't
blame
get-
America for that.
We don't get hamburger on the ballots. You do it online through misinformation. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, you don't
Yeah.
test for anyway. Yeah.
You can't test a tweet for bamboo fibers, is all I'm saying. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, whichever you believe, that Snake Lady shaped the earth with her husband, or my man Pangu lifted up the sky until he died. After the break, we're going to talk about some humans that have to live in this world. It is said in Chinese myth that all people share one common ancestor, Chuanyuan Huangdi, or the Yellow Emperor. Guys, hold your laughter, please. The first ruler of lands that would later become China, his reign began in 2697 BCE, when he united the tribes of the Yellow River Plain under a single government. It's named after the river, not the people. Okay, I'm gonna say Yellow Emperor a lot. I know you guys a little. We're gonna nip that one in the butt.
I think all emperors are cowards. That's why.
Yeah.
The yellow-bellied emperor.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So the Yellow Emperor was the child of Fuxi and Yua, and is credited with being the creator of a slew of things. Whether or not he was the child of Fuxi and Yua, who knows? Again, some tales have them as much more like humans, where they created people from yellow clay. Others have Yua as kind of snake lady. It's all a bit of a mess when you go back to 2697 BC, right?
I mean, if you're some kind of creator god, you're like, what if our sun was perfect? What if the Yellow Emperor that we create had 4 snake tails? And at the end, 5 smaller snake tails, yet more at the end there. And that's how they kind of came to the creation of the human form as we know it.
John Cena was made out of Bing Chilling, vanilla, of course.
That's true.
Yeah, the Vanilla River, which also runs through China.
Well,
I think the vanilla only runs through Madagascar, but this is your boy. This is the Yellow Emperor. So
he's black here.
Chuanyuan Huangdi. So this is a carving on a 2nd century tomb.
Was this a relief of
which
it?
Had a exactly. Somebody took the relief of it basically.
Mm.
The Yellow Emperor. There was a bas relief on a tomb, and there was an inscription under it which says, "The Yellow Emperor created and changed a great many things. He invented weapons and the well field system. He devised upper and lower garments and established palaces and houses."
He invented pants?
Right, pants and shirts.
Yo.
I was gonna comment on his shirt. Look how friggin' wide those sleeves are.
It looks comfy. I like the picture that he has like a bunch of cotton stuffed in there, and so he can just like throw himself around and feel good all the time. Or maybe he's just very strong with small hands.
Man,
Yeah, you haven't slept until you've gone to an opium den and slept in a robe full of cotton. that's relaxing.
That's luxury.
Right?
Yeah.
No opium yet, right? That comes
What?
later.
Does it come later?
Oh,
It was from the British.
The British introduce it, right? So,
Oh, is that what happened?
The Yellow Emperor created the British.
I always thought the Chinese found opium first because it was more popular there than here, but I guess it was just one of those British like give you measles kind of thing.
I think the British were harvesting it from like ye olde Afghanistan, and
the Mediterranean, I think, is where it comes from.
Shipping it down the Silk Road,
It comes
and
from
also
poppies,
via
right?
ship. Yeah, exactly. And then people just got super fucking addicted to it. But it was like the British's plan to get people so whacked out and turn them into junkies so that they couldn't resist when they were taking over chunks of China and Hong Kong still.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, not still.
Well, not still. That's true. That did not go well, actually.
Those were the better days for drug use, because opium's bad and it'll make you lay around a whole bunch, but it's not going to kill you like fentanyl or something.
So
right?
they did not have opium, but they did have marijuana. We'll get into the marijuana.
Hell yeah!
Get into
All
the kush,
right,
yeah.
it's deified too. Let's go.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So on top of all those things that pants, shirts, etc., he's got credit for the lunar calendar, so like the Chinese calendar, Taoism, the religion or philosophy, I guess. Wooden houses, boats, carts, the compass needle, the earliest forms of writing, civilization, and all of its benefits, and even an early game of soccer known as kushu. Kuchiyu.
Kuchiku.
Kuchiku. He invented soccer. Kuchiku.
And then the chasing and tickling game.
Yeah, well, they didn't actually have a ball in those days. They just had one tiny man that both players had to tickle into the other team's goal.
Stop it!
Okay, that's the episode art, right?
Yeah, I need to get that line, that like ink line art.
Yeah, I looked at. We've talked about this before, and I do remember which one we are. But do you remember 1991 in the lunar calendar? What animal we would have been?
I'm a goat. You're the goat. Yeah,
we're the goat. And do you know what it's like a something goat? Do you know what the thing before goat is for our year specifically?
No.
It's a metal goat.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
We're metal goats, dude.
Cool.
Imagine ramming our horns right into
I don't know, dude. I imagine.
Yeah,
outside of the steamship, baby.
Yeah,
right. I mean, obviously, the Zodiac is all encompassed within the steamship.
The metal goat down. The metal goat goes down with the steamship.
Dude.
He's the avatar.
Under the influence of the metal element, people born as metal goats are kind-hearted, strong-minded, determined, and disciplined. I was gonna throw in a dumb one at the end there.
Damn, that's exactly us, though. You guys ever thought about it? Damn, that describes us perfectly.
Especially while putting this show together.
Yeah, right. Super disciplined.
Yep. Determined,
super kind,
strong-minded.
I'm
doing the curls right now in my head. You wouldn't even know.
That's how you get real smart. Is think about exercise.
Strong mind, dumb brain, right?
Yeah.
So the biggest credit to his name is surely the creation of Chinese society and civilization. Oh, and pants is a close number 2, I think. But we're gonna give it to civilization more.
Well, broad. They kept pants beyond Mao's Cultural Revolution, so that shit's ironclad.
Exactly right. So yeah, this is kind of the birth of this idea of theocracy and having these thearchs ruling over China, and the idea that like the emperors were placed there by divine right, and they were gods in some sense.
A lot of like giant civilizations have their deified creator, right? Like a more Western one that we're probably familiar with is like Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome, right? Which is a similar thing. They of course were raised by like a wolf in the mountains or whatever, but
yeah, and it's one of those things like if I put on my smart or weak mind smart brain hat,
if you imagine a bicep flexing, right?
Yeah, exactly. If I stop imagining a bicep flexing, so I can actually think, I would say like these are probably all tools to like keep the powerful people in place, right? So like one of the sources which I referenced, the Huainanzi, is like specifically designed as like a guidebook for like new rulers to like look at, and this is how you should like rule by, essentially. And like there is some good practice in there. A lot of it does seem to be like for the betterment of the Chinese people, and like there does seem to be strong belief that like there's a lot of responsibility for the empire and the emperors to do good for their people. That said, they're still filthy fucking rich and taking all the resources, right?
The beshirted man chosen by God.
Yeah, exactly.
There is like more collectivism and like different thoughts, like about like when you'd order food as a family in China, you wouldn't think to just order your own plate and do it, right?
Yeah,
you would like you order for the table and everything. I wanted to say we were talking about like a god that like basically it's an emperor god or whatever. In Darktide, which is one of the Warhammer 40k games, I've been playing it recently, and in the loading screen, there's quotes that it seems to read from like scripture to the emperor. But I was just in my room and I had like a particularly long loading screen and I was a little bit stoned and I'm just like laying on my bed playing Dark Tide and I start reading the quotes like full volume and I didn't realize people were smoking right outside my window. So I'm just laying in my bed like going like, only in death does duty end. Praise be the emperor. Rejoice in thy service. Seek for yourself a death worthy of remembrance. Smite all who would besmirch you. And like I was saying this shit and I was role playing in my head being a big emperor guy, but to them I seem like a wacky guy.
But you're
getting a wellness check in 3 days.
Yeah, exactly. There's like 192 different quotes that it just randomly goes through, and I rarely see the same one, so they're fun to read. But
I gotta say, getting caught with that level of embarrassment is like, that's pretty bad. Getting caught with that level of embarrassment when you're high is like, oh fuck, dude, everything's over forever.
I'm starting to get on the other side of the self-conscious shit whenever, like, I'm starting to get older, so now I'm just like, this is just a funny experience. Like I'm laughing at myself, you know. Yeah,
I'm still too much a junior, I suppose, when it comes to smoking weed. But
yeah,
I get embarrassed cutting my fingernails because I thought my wife was gonna wake up and get mad at being stoned by accident.
That one's kind of cute though. You're just like, I don't want to wake up the family, you know.
Yeah, I don't want to wake up my wife, and then also I think she's gonna think that it's weird that I'm stoned, even though this happened by accident because I took some CBD oil. But I've talked about that story before, probably on a bonus.
Patreon.com. Get to it.
Yeah. So this is a period in history where the figures known as the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors, capitalized, reigned.
Big 8.
Yeah, exactly. Who exactly was which is still up for a lot of debate. The Yellow Emperor himself invariably makes the list, but is sometimes placed with the sovereigns, also known as the Xian, while other times he is placed as one of the 5 emperors, usually the patriarch of the emperors. So important dude, no matter what.
Yeah.
The sovereigns are said to be demigods or god kings who use their divine power to improve the lives of the Chinese people. So again, they're kind of these like very, very powerful beings who rule as god kings.
The pantheon is noticeably benevolent for the Chinese as well.
I mean, it's it is this common theory or common belief, I think, that, you know, again it's a lot of the writing in these books is like, you should use your power for good and you should be trying to help the Chinese people and your people. That said, there's all, like we're going to talk about it in a little bit, like there's all tribes, you know, and they are kind of going to go to war with each other and so because like we're the right ones and we're following the right god king, right? Which is like still problematic in its own way. But I mean, I think like a lot of, you know, Islam and Christianity and Judaism, like if you look at certain excerpts, like a lot of it is pretty positive, you know. There's some there's some real nasty stuff in there, but there's a lot of positive you can take out of them too. It all depends on you know what lens you're kind of looking at it through. And I think in particular, these like primordial, like kings of civilization, like this is Chinese civilization, like civilization as we would describe it does not exist at this point in China. And I think for a lot of these figures who are like clearly mythological, but maybe also were real, kind of like Romulus and Remus,
or Jesus for that matter.
Yeah, so, exactly. Like there's like this impetus to have made them seem benevolent after the fact, probably, right? Whether or not they actually were. So
what does the world look like way back at this? Is it Chinese cavemans?
No. I mean, it's not far off, but like this guy invented wood houses, right? So
that's pretty intense.
There's definitely agriculture, like there's definitely farming and animal husbandry and things like that. But like this is very, very early Chinese culture for sure. This guy is said to have invented weapons and clothes, you know, so take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, and also wooden houses where it's just like it's like it's the first guy to ever be like science has gone too far is somebody who made a brick house. It's like no,
exactly.
It's like he has the wooden house, and then everybody else has mud houses, and it rains, and just everybody like their house melts around them, but he's okay in his house. Like
but then a big bad wolf
comes. Shows up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, and then you want to be in the mud house,
stumbling over each other to get it out first.
like piggies running away from a wolf.
Yeah, exactly. Jamie's just chilling in his brick house with always like the best jokes anyway, so I don't know why me and Pete do this to ourselves. So most often placed in the three sovereigns category alongside the Yellow Emperor is Fuxi and who we know, and Shennong, the first of the Yan emperors who taught the ancient Chinese people not only the secrets to agriculture, but also how to smoke reefer.
Oh, dude, this guy's sick, man. He's like, yo, if you put the rice in the ground, man, and you put the water. Wait, no, rice grows underwater, right?
To be honest, don't know where the grain's at on the little thing. I know the patties are flooded.
Okay, yeah. They have to flood their fields to get all their dank weed out of it, and
that's it. Like I know, like cranberries aren't grown in water; they flood the field at the end to harvest, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
but I don't know if it's the same with rice.
Do they have a pot patty, like a rice patty?
Yeah, for sure.
For
sure,
nice.
bro.
And they haven't invented the bong yet, so they have to flood it to get a good hit. Right?
It does sound like the Chinese invented it, though.
Probably honestly,
a bong, yeah.
Honestly, very well might have. I can't say I didn't look it up for this episode, guys. But if I had to guess, I'll look it up. Who invented the bong? If it says Chief Marin, I'll lose my mind. Bob, it's better. Bob Snodgrass.
That's you know what his strain was called, huh?
Oh man. Okay, wait a second. Bob Snodgrass. Due to recent discoveries, the date of the earliest bongs go back 2,400 years.
Yeah.
So it could
before
be
Jesus.
It could be some kind of post wooden house, pre brick house, Chinese culture, right?
Yeah. Possible that the bong was invented in Africa or near Africa.
So Jesus could have ripped the bong?
Yes.
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah, dude.
That's so fucking cool. I'm a Christian
That's sick, man, with his long hair and shit. His big, like
cannabis, tobacco, herbal substances. Oh wait, no, it's probably an Arabic thing, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be one of those things of like when does it become a bong, right? Like if you just move that, whatever your qualifiers are, it's going to be a different person who invented it, probably.
Yeah. I know we're off on the side here, but the last thing, it is like a Fertile Crescent thing. It is the Scythians, which are in eastern Iran. So it is Fertile Crescent invention. So
your cat's such a star today, Ethan. He's been going in the background a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's been walking past before. Yeah, very
He's
cute.
a chubby bastard these days.
Hey.
Pete loves to come to people's houses and call their cat fat.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I love fat cats, dude.
His dad comes to your house, calls you gay. He comes in, calls your cat fat.
Exactly.
Telling Rebecca and Steve that their cat was fat too.
I mean, that older one was a bit of a beanbag. Very cute.
Addison, yeah, still a little bit. Wasn't too bad.
Yeah,
She's chunky.
Yeah, he's chunky too. What am I going to do? Put him on a diet? Listen to our bonus. They don't even work. So
cat Larry's in, cat Larry's out.
In Chinese mythology, Shennong taught humans the use of the plow, aspects of basic agriculture, and the use of marijuana. Possibly influenced by the Yan Emperor mythos or the use of slash and burn agriculture, Shennong was a god of burning wind. So slash and burn agriculture is like you find a forest, you like cut it all down right before the rain season, you let it all like decompose a little, then you burn it. You cut it all down, you burn it all. You burn like everything in the field, then you let the rain kind of just like wash the nutrients into the soil.
Right.
And it makes that field super fertile for like 3 to 5 years essentially. Wow. And then after 5 years you go on and you find like another patch to do that with.
That's good.
And
I was thinking back to Bob Snodgrass's invention and how it encapsulates earth, wind, air, and fire. Because you got the earth is in the bowl. It's your little leaves in there.
Okay.
And then you add the fire and you pull the air and it goes through the water and earth, wind, fire, air.
Let's groove tonight.
Yeah. So the bong was invented back before the universe was put together.
The ancient Iranian emperor Bob Snodgrass. We're familiar with.
Shennong, this god is a god of burning wind. That's
bad farts. That's what that means.
Yeah, exactly.
Bad farts.
That's too many spicy winks before bed to fix your heartburn. Get all gassy. So yeah, he's the he's kind of the god king of the Yan Empire, and the Yan empires will often be led by figures known as Flame Emperors. It's just a very cool name.
Very cool.
And so yeah, he's the god of burning wind, and it's because of this slash and burn agriculture technique, which he's said to have taught humans, which presumably the people of the Yan Empire used as a technique.
Yeah. Okay.
He was also sometimes said to be a progenitor to, or to have had as one of his ministers, this figure Qi Yu. So Qi Yu, generations later, would lead a tribe known as the Jiuli. A Shennong emperor, Yandi, the last of the Flame Emperors, sometimes was thought of as Shennong, but then was voted out in 2004. A bunch of people got together and said they're not the same person, Shennong and Yandi.
Okay.
But Yandi is an emperor, the last Flame Emperor, essentially, of the Yan Empire. So this guy goes to war with Shennong's old minister Shi Yu over some border disputes, and here's Shi Yu for you guys.
And then the Fire Nation attacked.
Yeah,
Another great relief. Oh my god, what is going on here? It's like a bear. It looks like a dancing Russian bear, but he's got
like a satyr or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Like antenna on his head, and he looks like he's wearing like a Nike sweatband. Googly eyes. A lot of these old drawings have googly eyes. Like even the picture of the guy whose name I've forgotten at this point, he has heavily cross eyes in the guy who created the earth and minerals, basically. Pengu, yeah.
Do you ever play the claw game with your left foot though? He's definitely look at that claw game.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's got the claw from Toy Story as his left foot, and then he's holding a regular looking sword, and then I don't know, like a piece of farm equipment in the other hand, which is just a thin.
He's throwing a police baton in the air.
Yeah, he's got a baton. That's it.
I like to think he's giving a thumbs up, and there's a trail of smoke leading up from his thumb, which is then leading to that police baton.
Oh,
I see the thumb. Yeah, all right.
He's giving tiny little thumbs up.
Yeah.
Oh, basically. It's not a police baton; it's a peace pipe.
Oh yes, of course.
That's why there's smoke.
Predates the water bomb.
Yeah, exactly. Bob Snodgrass had yet to go on the scene.
We've just been slashing and burning our weed fields until like the Ottomans and were joined to the Chinese through the Silk Road. It's like, click, 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 just like a donkey cart full of bongs going through the Himalayas.
So fun fact about Shi Yu is that he's like referenced a lot. I did not look into him too closely because he's only here to be kind of a foil for our story today. But he is like a very commonly recurring bad guy in a lot of media. So like the Megami Tensei series, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Marvel Comics, Assassin's Creed, Jade. He's like the main antagonist is Shi Yu. In Shenmue, he's the main antagonist. There's like a bunch more.
Wow.
So
is Assassin's Creed Jade? Sorry, not to.
I'd never heard of it either, honestly.
Okay,
but
is Shi Yu a guy?
Yeah, he is another like god king actually.
Okay. So it'd be Shi Yu he him.
Yes, in his email signature.
Yeah, Shi Yu he him. Okay, got it.
It's probably XI.
Yeah.
Chinese people's pronouns are. I thought they were he. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, God. That sounds. Yeah, someone's uncle told that one at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Right. Here's American Thanksgiving, by the way. Happy Thanksgiving. Who cares about the holiday? But glad you guys got to hang out with your family.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving. To all the Americans. No one else in the world. You'll get a happy Thanksgiving from me.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. We'll come and manifest destiny that Thanksgiving away from you.
Exactly. So we have the Flame Emperor, reminder, who's going to war with Shi Yu, this cross-eyed guy with the claw from Toy Story as a foot.
Yeah.
Over some border disputes. Amongst the ranks of the Flame Emperor's army marching to battle, a lone soldier stood out, one known as Xing Chan. So this is our headless goblin.
Finally! Okay. I forgot that was even a part of this. Okay, cool.
So, born in obscurity. We don't know too much about Xing Chan. We know he served the Flame Emperor as an official, Probably some tales also say that maybe he was his own like divine being before all this. He fought for our story. He fought for the Flame Emperor as an official, and he fought so that his king might become the supreme god. Supreme god is a lofty title for someone who essentially is going to like rule over all of China. It's kind of like a translation of like the big emperor, I guess.
You'll be the supreme god in charge of this one place on this one planet.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
People 4,000 years ago didn't really have the scope of the earth down very good. You know?
Yeah, exactly. For all I knew, in my weed field, on the other side of a hill that was too high to see over, monsters. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's all elephants and elephant farts and turtles down there.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, man.
That's the edge of the world, right?
Yeah.
That's what my dad told me. Don't go over that hill; you'll fall into the ocean.
Yeah. So again, probably worth mentioning here again, Chinese rule for a long time was theocracy. So again, the rulers are believed to be divine. So they're kind of fighting to be the divine ruler of these people. Unfortunately, Yandi, and also known as Yuan, sorry. Or did I say Yuan earlier? Have I been saying Yuan? He's got a lot of names, this guy. Yandi, the Flame Emperor, and Xingqian combined could not beat Qiyu. So they go to battle. They're driven back.
They did their fusion dance. They go combine together. They try and find Majin Buu, but Majin Buu is still too strong.
Yeah, Xingqian's head was just getting in the way because he still has his head at this point.
Oh yeah.
So they're driven back from fighting Shiyu because again, this is kind of like over border disputes where Shiyu's Judi armies were kind of pushing into their land, the Shinong tribe's land, or the Yan tribe's land, until they came up against the armies of Huangdi, the Yellow Emperor. So they're kind of like on a war on one front against Shiyu. They're driven back until they run out of room at their other border, the border of the Yellow Emperor, right? The Yellow Emperor is like, well, can't come here, bud. So in the first ever large-scale battle in Chinese history, the armies of the Yellow Emperor met the armies of Shenong in a place called the Bangquan, where they fight.
Probably last time there'll be a big war in China. Right?
Probably.
Oh yeah.
This is probably settled it once and for all, honestly.
Yeah. Isn't it a meme where it's like Chinese history? It's like this emperor reigned, 2.3 million Chinese people died in this battle. This emperor reigned, like it's just crazy casualties. Like,
It's constantly warring provinces. And the dynasties all like form and crumble and break to pieces, and then the Japanese start to invade off the coast constantly.
A lot of war. A lot of
the Japanese were the real bastards by all accounts, if you look through a lens of history. But so Yandi was fighting Huangdi for the position of supreme god, but he and his armies were once more not enough. They couldn't beat Shiyu. They couldn't beat the Yellow Emperor. After 3 battles, Yandi surrendered leadership to Huangdi. Xingqian, however, had no interest in peace. He challenged Huangdi himself, and it didn't really end well for him. I have a quote for you guys. Xingqian and the supreme god Di came to this place and struggled against each other for ultimate power. The supreme god cut off Xingqian's head and buried him at Eternally Auspicious Mountain, all caps. Again, it's a translation. Like this is like how a Chinese person would name their mountain, but
all
saying it in English
is a nice touch. Eternally auspicious.
Yeah. Or I should say all capitalized, not all caps. Sorry, but like it's a proper noun. I am not saying it's an eternally auspicious mountain. I am saying it is named Eternally Auspicious Mountain.
No, that much I gather, but I also understand how it's run through the Google Translate because again, you have
or a real translator, but.
Yeah, but we have like more Western like mountains like Olympus, which is way easier to pronounce and translate because like our Western language comes from a more
comes from
more
Greek if you go back far enough.
Right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So Xingqian's nipples then transformed into his eyes, and his navel became a mouth. He performs a dance with an axe and a shield.
I forgot who we're talking about. Of course that happened.
In his drawing, are his nipples crossed too?
So I have two drawings of Xing for you. I'll share the first one, which is very similar to the one that you guys have already seen, which you guys can go ahead and describe for the listeners at home, I suppose.
Let's see it.
He's so good.
It just makes so much sense that there should be a face on a belly, you know?
I love how much work went into the background of this photo. Because again, it's just the white sheet with the black ink, like the very kind of scratchy Chinese style. The rocks, the moss, the water, everything looks incredible. And then, Jamie, if you want to carry on.
There's a headless figure with an axe and shield. And with no head, there's just like no neck either. Because on all the face you need is on the chest. So like the eyes are nipples, the nose is like a bulge where like your sternum would be sort of. And then they're wearing like a grassy pelt to cover their genitals. You could suck
pubes,
your own dick so easy if you were this guy.
Well, could you?
I
Can
so.
you touch your belly button?
A lot
touch
easier.
your belly button with an erection? I don't know.
Could you? Yeah.
I think this is more a matter of length than it is flexibility. Now,
Marilyn Manson had his head removed so that he could suck his own dick.
Yeah, and also if you have a bit of a stomach, that means your mouth would be farther out too, so you'd have an issue with curving back.
Yeah,
I was just doing the math for myself here.
You got to do the
Can you
orbital
imagine?
mechanics.
As he gains weight, his mouth gets further and further out.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, I only I ate more, so I'm closer to kissing you. That's why.
I love the big voluptuous lips on this drawing too.
Yeah, it's kind of coy. I feel like that face knows something that I don't. You know,
But it knows how to suck its own dick, Jamie. That's what
I love. Okay, I'll give you guys three pictures of Xing because so Xing is in Smite, the MOBA game where you play as like various gods. He's like a playable character.
Yeah, okay.
And like I just love that they do make him look like it's a cool enough design or whatever. Like if a little stereotypical, they give him a helmet, which I think is weird considering he doesn't have a head. But then he has like a big demon face on his kind of body. But I love the juxtaposition of like those two photos of it being like so edgy and trying to be so cool, and then just this happy guy frolicking and dancing in a meadow by a river with his axe and his shield and his stupid face.
Glowing eyes emerging from rippling pectorals, and then it's just like, oh. I know how to suck my own dick.
And he dances. His whole thing is that he's like always dancing, essentially.
Wow.
That's great.
The dance he does is one of defiance towards Huang Di. He's like, he didn't kill me, basically. He was decapitated. His head was buried under a mountain, but pure spite allowed him the strength to turn his nipples into eyes and his belly button into a mouth.
Imagine him doing the worm.
He could use his tongue to help out, honestly.
True.
Okay.
As a prank, when he hugs people, do you think he like blows a raspberry on their stomach?
Yeah. Well, when I'm pranking people, I don't let somebody blow a raspberry on my stomach.
If he misses his mouth, he burns his penis whenever he's drinking coffee.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's right underneath there. You don't have that chest or stomach area to catch.
Just thinking about the Bond villain. He just like rotates in his chair and he's just like sipping tea directly into his stomach.
I like this guy a lot.
Okay,
he inspired an entire episode, right?
That's great. But here's my actual favorite picture of him. Okay, I hit the wrong enter. So that was him in the forest, presumably dancing where he lives. Here is him, like just terrorizing like a group of like people, I guess. Like just people hanging out.
This is like a 19th century photo. Like some of these people are like visibly British. Like there's a guy wearing like an Argyle vest in the background.
To me, it does look
little
like the British. Yeah. Like the British have come to China to sell us opium, and there's just this little headless goblin running around causing a muckus.
This one doesn't have a nose.
I didn't realize how much smaller he is than just like an average human next to him. Like not even with the head. Like even if he had his head, he'd come up to your waist. But no,
like he's coming up to their knees almost in this picture, and like again, like there's probably a million depictions of him. He's very common in a lot of Chinese poetry, like to this day, because he's kind of he's like a good symbol of like don't let the world get you down. He perseveres despite having his head cut off and buried under a mountain by the God Emperor. You know, he's
you
still
two
just
can
like,
still terrorize the British. Don't
you
worry,
two
dude.
can still frolic and terrorize the British.
He reminds me of like a Roblox character on his face. Like, have you seen the Roblox mug?
Oh yeah, sure,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Like this character.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I can see it.
I tell you what, he is going to make an excellent soccer ball for our episode.
So under the guidance of Huan Di, who wasn't about to be dissuaded by a face on a torso, the two tribes formed an alliance, creating the Yan Huang tribe. This new tribe soon drew the envy of Shi Yu, who attacked Shennong territories again. The combined Yan Huang tribe met the Zhuli tribe in the Battle of Zhuolu, and they were ready. While they initially suffered some losses due to the fog, Huang Di, our Yellow Emperor, busted out his latest invention, okay? The guy went full Edison on him. He took a cart, wagon, and a compass. You put them together. What do you get?
Wait, let me think about this. Cart,
like a GPS, kind of.
You get
a cart, a wagon, and a compass. You get a self-driving car.
Pretty much. So you got what was called the south pointing chariot. Is a war wagon which would protect their soldiers. So it's kind of just like a covered wagon that the soldiers could walk under to protect them from like arrow fire.
Okay, cool.
But there was a ton of fog like in this area of China and during this time, so they would like get lost essentially. So this cart was built with a pointer that would always point south for them, so they would always be able to orient themselves based on where it was pointing.
On purpose?
No, orient does come from that, like from the cardinal points.
I did that on purpose. I didn't even know. I was like, what did I do on purpose?
Whenever I was replaying Battleshock Infinite or whatever, they're like, yeah, the mysteries of the Orient and all this stuff. So it's fresh in my mind.
Fresh in your mind,
yeah.
No, so it's basically a wagon with a pointer that would always point south.
Cool.
This is about 2,200 years before the invention of the magnetic compass, which was invented in Han China.
Wow.
While it probably didn't work very great, this device, it's essentially like they would calibrate it on the wagon, and then they would have this pointer affixed to the wheels so that when the wheels turned like a fixed degree, the pointer would turn like a fixed degree to keep pointing south, essentially.
Wow.
So like if the wheels ever skipped or whatever, like it would get off calibrate, like it would get uncalibrated. And like I say, it probably didn't work pretty well. But the fact that
there's no rocks on the way south.
Yeah, exactly.
This sounds like one of those made up things. Like, you know, the lighter was invented before the matches. Yeah. Like, the GPS car was invented before the compass. You know,
yeah. GPS the GPS was invented before the Orient.
I like that. Yeah, it's
because ultimately the Yan Huang tribe was victorious and Shi Yu was killed. The Yan Huang tribe then could expand eastwards without hindrance and soon formed what became to be known as the Huaxia civilization, the precursor of the Han Chinese civilization. To this day, Chinese people still call themselves the descendants of Yan and Huang.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, I know the Han Chinese are like a particular group of people with like within the country as well. In the same way you'd have like Scottish or Irish as.
Yeah. The Han civilization or Han Chinese civilization came after the Huaxia civilization, which was these people became the Yan Huang, became the Huaxia, and when their emperor's reign essentially ended, the Han dynasty took over. So
Han
very,
Solo.
very ancient.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
You got to encase him in magma. You got to use the fire attack. You can't use the ice attack for him.
Yes.
No, that's right. That's right.
So yeah, thanks so much for listening. That's been our grade 9 intro to this is our grade 9 book report on Chinese mythology, I guess.
Yeah.
That was cool. I really enjoyed that one, Ethan. That was fun.
I hope you enjoyed it at home. If you want to support the show or help us out in any way, the best way to do so is to leave a review on your podcast app of choice or to tell your friends. Help us grow. Let's get new members. We really appreciate everyone who's done so much for us already. Everyone turning up, putting in the work, moderating our friggin' Discord server for us, Dave. What the David, excuse me.
Dave.
I probably put in an extra 20 hours of gaming this week because I was able to replace my PC parts and stuff thanks to some of you folks and stuff.
Yeah.
Putting a lot more into the show.
Yeah. So Jamie, what do you want to talk about
This
buddy?
week, I am thankful for anyone who donates to our Patreon, and anyone.
True.
Um,
I'm
no,
thankful for that too.
I've been having a good time on Discord. That's where you can find us. Now that I've got a second screen, I'll be able to track you guys even easier. So if you get into the Discord, it's discord.gg/loreboys, LOREBOYS. And there's a lot of folks in there. I saw this week I renamed one of the chats, voice chats, to Dwarves Mining because people are playing Deep Rock Galactic in there, having a good old time.
Great choice.
Yep. So if you want to be a part of that and see some of our crazy out of context quotes, here's let me grab a random one out for you. Vaccines cause autism, Ethan.
Uh-oh.
Pray.com foreskin, Jamie. Wasn't he gay, James? Bunny cummies. Well, we got all these fun things. So you can pick out your favorite thing that probably made sense in context, right? And just catch us out there. But anyways, Discord's a fun place to hang out. And all you have to do is discord.gg/loreboys and you'll get in there. So that's it.
Yeah. And Peter, what about you?
My responsibility at Low Res Podcast on Instagram. Come say hello. Thank you for all the follows. Thank you for all the likes. Some of our images have been doing really, really well these days, which always makes me feel good because, of course, I spend time drawing them and putting it all together. And it's just like visualizing our dumb jokes, visualizing our out of context quotes, right? I do fan art of Ethan getting autism from a vaccine or something like that.
That's this week's art.
Like a Chinese line work, Ethan getting vaccinated.
Yeah. Just like it was Chinese mythology. Somehow we had to tie it back to COVID, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Low Res Podcast on Instagram. Thank you everybody who reaches out over there. I know I've been like off social media for like weeks at this point. Frankly, love it because I'm so busy, but I'll get back to reading your messages. So feel free to continue sending memes because some of them are fantastic. Yeah, and then as far as any of my personal work goes, my comic will be released early 2024 at some point. Through Lore Boys. So if you guys have been waiting for that for 2 years that I've been talking about it, like in the process of producing it, of course, that's how you're gonna find it. And yeah, it's just I just draw Stickman. I Stickman all day. That's it. That's what I do.
Draw a good Stickman though. If you guys want to support the show financially, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/theloreboys. That has some perks that we've already talked about on this episode, so I won't bore you with the details. If you don't trust Patreon, and you want to be thankful for us, we do have Lore Boys Prime, of course. As always, we're putting together a Thanksgiving dinner. We need your guys' help doing so. I'm thankful for all our wonderful patrons who send Jamie their cranberries. That's what I'm most thankful for, because Jamie needs a lot of cranberry sauce. He eats it directly into his stomach.
I love cranberry sauce. I get just nasty urinary tract infections if I don't get at least a can of the cran a day.
A can of the cran. You should see Jamie's apartment. It's all empty cans of cranberry sauce. It's a tetanus infection waiting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's just got a scrapyard of ocean spray cans. Just
Yep.
I'll be bringing the tofurkey, so no need to worry about that. No one's allowed to eat meat at my Thanksgiving. No, thank you. So I'm the God Emperor of the Lore Boys podcast, if you really think about it, probably. So I get
bringing
to
roadie yams. I'm bringing a 6 of roadie yams, like in the plastic rings.
Which might be from the bonus. I can't remember.
I don't remember.
The Lore Boys.
I think it was this.
We were talking about calorific deficits on the bonus.
It was the bonus.
Oh, damn it.
But also a little bit on this.
If you want our dieting advice, I know. I'm also bringing a very low calorie dish. It is a bag of elephant farts, a whole garbage bag.
Nice.
And yeah, we can share that.
Everyone's favorite Thanksgiving dessert, the elephant farts.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to bring their own, but grandma makes the best bag of elephant farts. I hope she leaves me her recipe when she dies. I think that would constitute
Lore Boys out.
Did Grandma die or did she bring her elephant farts again? All right.
I'm going to the washroom again.
Yeah, I'm gonna start.